Why this story? I know it was something you've been working on for 6 years, developing and performing and writing it as an on-stage
Yeah.
one-man play. But walk me through your decision to do this film.
Well, I wanted to tell my story in hopes that in telling my story with great candor, that it would encourage other people to tell their stories, and that all of our stories is the American story, and it emphasizes our common humanity. What I've done is much more a human story than a hero story, and it's a performative autobiography. I did it in the end of 21. We filmed it, and now it's a film on Max. And I feel that I've said what I wanted to say, and I hope that in the process of doing that, it encourages other people to tell their stories.
Well, I guess writ large, what is it that you want to say? Obviously, a very crucial part of all of our existences right now.
Well, I think the most the most important line in the film is where I say, we're in such a divided country today that maybe we could learn something from what made the Knicks team successful so many years ago. Take responsibility for yourself, respect your fellow human being, disagree with them openly, honestly, civilly, enjoy their humanity, and never look down on people you don't understand.
Well, let's take that.
That in a core is the essence of the film.
So let's take that one at a time here, because the civil discourse has essentially disappeared, and many of the reasons why, I think, to be honest with you, is this phone that I have in my hand right here. Is that people can fire back at your opinions, and your opinions aren't completely thrown out there because there's a certain amount of characters in which you can say it. And then somebody who doesn't have to say something to your face or put their face up on the screen when they say it to you fires back. And then you kind of feel like the world is closing in on you on that conversation. I'm wondering if, and then of course it's the demonizing of the others, where you ascribe demonic intentions to somebody who is just trying to have a thoughtful conversation. I'm wondering, did you see the development of that in your 18 years in the Senate, Bill? Did you sense any of that?
Well, when I left the Senate, I left in part because I thought there was way too much money in politics and that the extremes began to take over. This is much more today, and it's exacerbated by social media. But my grandmother's thought is still relevant. Never look down on people you don't understand. I mean, the real reality is that when we were growing up, our parents or our coach would tell us, if you lose, congratulate the winner. That's just what it is. And you act out of honor, not out of grievance. And you know that if you work hard and have humility, that you can achieve excellence. And that's how you take care of your family. And if enough Americans did that, then the whole country would advance. These are givens. People know that. As long as politics is at a level of R&D or blue and red, you ignore the common humanity that everybody has. And to me, the whole thrust of my effort in the film is to focus on our common humanity as human beings, as Americans, and not on whether we were Republicans or Democrats. Now, will that help? I hope. I hope that it'll lead to some healing along the way, but we'll see.
Rolling Along, an American Story, available for streaming now on Max, written and performed by the man on whose life it is based, and it is Bill Bradley here on The Rich Eisen Show. It's available on Max, available right here on Roku. So I imagine the first time you represented the United States in anything was the 1964 Olympic Games, right, in Japan. I was just going down the memory hole, Bill. Larry Brown was a teammate of yours on that 1964 gold medal
Larry
team?
Brown played for Goodyear Tire and Rubber. He and Pete McCaffrey, and that's when AAU teams had representatives on the Olympic team. Yeah, when we were there, I thought we'd end up playing the Soviet Union in the final, and I made in the Olympic Village. You ate not with your country, but just ate as human beings. And I got to know a Russian who was a guard, and that's when I was an evangelical Christian. And so I went into Tokyo and bought a Bible in Russian and gave it to him. He didn't quite know what it was about. What was it? Why did you do this? But that's what I did in those days. And the Olympics was a great experience, standing on the platform, gold medal around your neck and hearing the national anthem played, chills going up and down your spine. It was a unique experience. It wasn't the greatest basketball in the world, but it was a great experience, and I'm glad I had it. And Larry Bird was on that team, no question. Not Larry Bird, Larry Brown was on that team.
Right, back in that day. And then when did you first meet Red Holtzman and realize that the Knicks were something special?
Well, I think I met Red when I was thinking of becoming a Knick. I went to college. Instead of going into the pros, I went to Oxford for 2 years. And then I decided one day I was out shooting baskets alone in the first gym Oxford had in 700 years. And I decided, I really love the game. And so I wanted to come back and play. And so when I came back to deal with the Knicks, that's when I met Red. He was a scout at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my first year, there was a change made. He came as coach. He was a great coach. He had only 3 rules. Hit the open man on offense, help out on defense, and the hotel bar belongs to me.
Did you follow those rules?
I certainly did. All 3 of them.
What's your favorite Clyde story, your favorite Walt Frazier story that might either sum up your relationship with him or just his greatness and personality altogether?
Yeah. Well, I was introducing him at some event. I forget where it was. And it wasn't a big event, but, there were people there. And so I said, there's no question that the greatest 7th game in the NBA Finals ever played was played by Walt Frazier. He had 36 points and 19 assists. And then he interjects, and 13 rebounds.
That's right. Yeah. That's a nice triple-double.
Then he also had 4 or 5 steals. So Clyde is just a wonderful human being. He was a health food person before it was popular. He was eating seeds when everybody else was eating hot dogs. And he always took care of himself, always slept. And I think I'm so glad that he's in 2 Hall of Fames, right? He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame and the Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He deserves it. He's worked hard for it, and he's a good man.
He sure is. Did Phil Jackson evince the greatness of a future coach when you were playing with him?
I never thought of Phil as a coach when I played with him. But as I look back, he looked at the game analytically. He was totally unselfish. He was somebody who was very disciplined. And all those things went into becoming a great and perhaps the greatest coach in the NBA history.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.